A recent poll showed 51% of people watch the Super Bowl, not for the game, but for the commercials. And with us today is Richard Skiermont, Senior Vice President and Executive Creative Director of Zone 5, to talk about the changes that we can expect to see during this Sunday's Super Bowl commercials. And the very first one to ask you, Richard, in a tough economy, are there any bargain basement clearance sales? Because usually it's the most expensive commercial ever during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't call it a fire sale, but I think it is definitely reflecting where the economy is right now. I think that if they didn't lower that price, that they were going to have several advertisers drop out for the cost alone. So.
Now, there's the cost issue, and some advertisers are trying something totally different. We've got one big trend for companies to spend less, not just because of the economy, but they're relying on social media more. Who's trying that out and how?
Well, there's several companies doing it. Doritos started this last year doing what I would call social media, where they had a contest and they had people actually submit commercials, which they're doing again this year, and they're doing it quite well. But the real story this year is Pepsi. Pepsi has decidedly not advertised in the Super Bowl this year, which will be a first for them. And they have put all of their resources into an online promotion that they're doing, which is all socially based. And basically it's the Pepsi Refresh Project, which is you can submit ideas online for any social thing. It can be education-based, it can be global-based, it can be hunger, anything you want it to be. And then people will vote on it. And then if it gets enough votes, they'll fund it, and they'll actually put the money they would put into the advertising towards those groups. So it's a really neat program. It's very deep. They have celebrity tie-ins. Celebrities are actually having their own ideas on it. So I think it's probably one of the smartest social media promotions I've seen in a long time.
Because they're not just sending out a tweet saying, hey, buy my product, please, you know?
Exactly. They're actually starting a dialogue,
right,
and a relationship with the customer as opposed to just selling cans of soda. So.
Now, they're getting publicity, even though they're not buying commercial time, which is something that happened last year with PETA. When they made a commercial and it was rejected by NBC, they got all the publicity anyway about the rejection. Now, there's some controversial ads this year's Super Bowl. Some made it in, some didn't.
Yeah.
Before I ask you who made it, who didn't, does it even matter at that point then?
It doesn't really matter. I think it's the PETA effect. I think people are starting to call it that, but it really is a PR move more than anything else. They put up the money to do the ad, they put up the money to actually place the ad, but they really don't care if the ad actually places. If it gets rejected, they get plenty of press, and it actually works in their favor. If it doesn't get rejected, it gets plenty of press. So it's a win-win for them, and sometimes it's on the cheaper side if they get rejected.
Right. So who's in, who's out this year?
Well, there was a dating service for a gay dating service that got rejected, and I believe PETA actually got approved for their ad this year, which added controversy because other groups came in and said you can't have this ad air. So it's kind of interesting.
So we've got a few seconds left. Other than water cooler talking points come Monday for the commercials, it's worthwhile to watch it for the commercials for the giveaways. Who do we have on the radar this year?
I think that the ads this year are going to be interesting. I mean, I've been looking at the ones that have been posted already. Certainly the Doritos ones are interesting because they are homespun, and they're always funny, and I'm always amazed by how clever people can actually be. So I'm curious to see who's going to actually win those. I'm actually looking to see who's going to get actually aired on those ones. And I think that the Budweiser spots are going to be kind of nice this year.
As always, gotta love the Clydesdales. So Richard Skiermont, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Elisa.